Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you're calling in from.
Hey everybody. Oh, there's a bit of an echo. Let me fix that. Can you guys hear me? Yes?
Yep.
All right.
What's happening, one June?
It's happening. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Where's everyone calling in from? If you can use the Q&A bar on the right. Vegas, Fairfield, Canada. Awesome. Great. Just testing that if that's working. So we will get started here in a minute. Apologies for the slight late start. We had a little bit of a technical issue.
We got Vegas in the chat, Michigan, Indianapolis, Virginia, beautiful San Diego. You're showing off.
All right.
Y'all scared one June off. He ran away.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so hey everybody. It's today's a big day. We are going to talk through the modern moving call center. Traditionally, what we've seen is that a lot of moving companies see their call center or people receiving calls and taking calls from customers, potential customers and leads as a cost center. And what Kevin and I are here to share with you today is that it no longer has to be. We think it's an opportunity to turn it into a revenue engine and a money making machine within your business. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about how voice agents, co pilots, and outbound automation are completely changing how moving companies should think about lead conversion and also working with your customers in general. This is me. I'm Wanjun. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Supermove. I am originally from Canada. I grew up there. Kevin's also from Canada. He lives there right now. And I went to UC Berkeley for school and worked at Pinterest for few years. I've moved, now 18 times my entire life. And in 2019, I had to move 3 times in a single year. And when you live in the middle of San Francisco in 2019, it's a crazy time, right? And well, it's still kind of crazy sometimes, but in 2019, a lot of my friends were working on some of the most like cutting edge technologies out there. Self-driving cars, drugs you can take that you can so that you could live longer, AI before AI was cool. And when I was moving with this moving company, and they would take out their paper bill of lading at the end of the move, and I would hand them my credit card. They would take it from me and they would slot it in between the carbon paper and use their thumb to scratch the credit card number into the carbon so that they could run my payment. And it just blows your mind, right? Because as you're doing that by hand, you see like self-driving cars learning how to drive, like blowing by you. So that sort of dichotomy was what really triggered our desire to build something for this industry. We're backed by some of the best venture capitalists out there in the world, Andreessen Horowitz. If you've used Lyft, Samsara, Airbnb, Facebook, all those companies got backed by Andreessen very early, and Andreessen backed us very early as well. And now we've used all of this investment and capital and desire to do something in the industry to bring the best technology, like self-driving cars, into this industry as fast as we can. So over the last few years, we've launched automations, our new AI products, and now voice agents, which roughly around half of the top 10 movers in the country today are currently utilizing in their business. Last year was a crazy time for AI. It's improving extremely quickly. And this was a slide I threw up roughly around the middle of 2025, which shows the growth rate of AI capabilities. Back in 2020, AI was doing things by answering, questions that would take a human 10 seconds to do, and then afterwards it'd be kind of bad. Roughly around towards the end of 2024, uh, you could ask AI a question and it could roughly do things that would take a human 1 hour to do. And I talked about this a lot and how this growth rate shows that AI is doubling every 7 months, the capabilities of AI. Well, fast forward a year later, compare it with the slide before. If AI was doing 1 hour tasks then, this is a snapshot just in February. Some of the latest models are doing things that would take humans 10 hours to do. That means AI is now capable of doing work that would take a human like 8 to 10 hours to do, pretty much a full work day, right? And what's also interesting is that it's not just doubling, but it's almost faster than doubling. So the rate of AI improving is even faster than I originally talked about. And then last year, I told this to a lot of companies. You know, if you do not get on and utilizing AI within your business, it'll be very, very hard to catch up. There are companies that are starting to use AI today, are going to get on that rate of improvement and double their capabilities every 7 months. So you fast forward a year or 2 years or 5 years. If you fast forward 5 years, that's nearly 1,000 times more capable than someone not using AI.
And I think, as we're going through this, hi, Kevin with Supermove. I not a mover myself, but all I do all day is talk to movers. If one June, you want to go back to the last one, what I think is pretty wild about this as well is, so I used to, before AI was cool, similar to some of your friends in 2015, 2016, I was doing research into the social science of it. And no one was interested in AI at the time. And the two things that were really big were big moments. We're thinking about AI in terms of human intelligence. So one was in 1997, AI beat Gary Kasparov, the best chess player in chess, and that blew people's minds. And there were major developments, but in terms of things that had major cultural impacts, the next time was AI beating this guy, Lee Sedol, at a game called Go, which is a much more complex game than chess. And that happened in 2016. So that was like a 19-year gap between the stuff that was making a big cultural impact. And now it seems to be every 3 days something new is happening. So that puts this in perspective of the curve is actually there. These things are actually happening. And it's no longer waiting, 19 years just to beat somebody at a board game.
It's very clear, if that trend continues and you can sort of take one, there's only really two stances you could take. You could look at that curve and say, okay, yeah, that's the ceiling. Or you can look at that curve and say, all right, this train is continuing to go and we just have to get on. It's very clear that if you're in the second camp, which I think is the right camp to be in, it is going to transform every single job out there and we have to figure out how to best utilize it within this industry to take advantage of it today. To kind of share with you what's happening in other industries, there's always been a bit of hesitancy around whether or not AI can successfully replace some of the maybe very highly sensitive or private work or complex work. Arguably, banking and finance is one of the most complex industries and also the most private and secure industries. And today, a lot of banks and a lot of finances are already using voice AI to handle sensitive data. They're figuring it out, and they figured it out. In healthcare, one of the most regulated industries in the world, today, if you walk into an ER at a more modern hospital, a lot of the doctors and nurses are talking into AI to take charts. That's just one example. Billing, everything around patient confidentiality, all those things were issues, but now a lot of AI companies have figured this out, and healthcare is also being modernized through AI today. Hospitality, a very clear jump up. If you call some of the travel industries or hotels, you're going to be talking to an intelligent AI to handle your reservations and as a 24/7 concierge. The moving industry is clear that it will be the next logical adopter of this infrastructure. And another thing that a lot of people have hesitancy on is that, look, like, yeah, AI sounds useful. I use it when I go shopping, I ask it questions, but it still sounds a little bit robotic when it comes to voice. And about a year ago, that was true, right? Maybe 2 years ago. I personally also did not like talking to AI. Didn't really feel like it understood me. It was interrupting me. It was slow to respond. But now the technology has come far enough where there's natural latency, about 200 milliseconds, or I'm going to show you here something really quickly. Or in the middle of the call, if you throw it curveballs, it can quickly react and ask you what it needs. It handles interruptions, and it's also emotionally intelligent. So just as every doubling of capabilities, those leaps are also happening in voice AI, and it's generational. It's so much better. Every single week that we look at it, it's so much better than the week before. I'm gonna play you something. Hold on, let me make sure that I. Good. So just last month, a company released this new zero latency voice technology, and I kind of want to share with everyone here what's out there in the market today, and something that we also plan to bring in to Supermove.
You want to hear a funny joke?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't even said it yet, but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's going to be really funny when I actually say the joke.
Okay.
So, why did the picture go to prison?
To get away from the mirror.
No, because it was framed.
Oh. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more? I've got one more for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What do you call a fake noodle?
A fake noodle? I don't
Or
know.
pasta?
Okay, nice. I like
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
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 Which is which?
Which is the human? I don't know.
I think you
If you
do
have a
know.
guess, if you're watching this with a group of people, if you think the top one was a human, say yes. If you think the bottom one was a human, say yes. I'll let you know in about 10 seconds. So a lot of people thought the top was the human.
We got a mix.
Yeah, it's a good mix. I'm gonna blow your minds right now. I'll exit this and I'll show you what I hid from the top was NVIDIA, and the bottom was the human. It's crazy how fast these things are improving. And if this is where it's at today, imagine where it's going to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, from a year from now.
And I think one of the key things also is, okay, great, this is happening in healthcare, this is happening in banking and in hospitality, but can this actually work in moving? And so one of the first things is, well, can it actually sell? And people come to us saying, I want to, if you go back, I want to sort of expand with my current headcount. Because typically in our industry, hiring is often the way to get more business, get more salespeople, get them hunting. But how do you use the existing folks? Well, one, you got to make sure that if you're sending any calls to AI, that it actually works. So I saw a Canadian in the chat. UBC, the University of British Columbia, did a study recently. Dr. Wong is in their School of Information Systems. This was in September 2025. And, I don't know if there's anybody here who's on TikTok. When people are selling things online, so they had a virtual AI avatar selling and they wanted to see how it compared against a human. And at the beginning, it was not doing well. The performance wasn't there and it was just kind of going through the motions. But with this continual rate of improvement, AI has become much more dynamic where you can throw it more and more, not only items that it expects, but things that are off the beaten path or that are totally different or once off. And what happened, Dr. Wong found, is that as AI has become more dynamic, meaning as it was engaging with people, this was an e-commerce store they tested it with. Uh, as the AI was engaging with folks in the chat, it actually started selling significantly more. And just answering their questions and engaging with them led to an 86% increase in revenue from what it was doing before, not versus the human, from what it was doing previously. So this is just in a couple of months. And so when you're thinking about it, yes, the AI can actually sell. It can also learn from your best people. And so, especially with peak season coming up, thinking about, well, how do you scale with your current team? Or how do you make sure that new folks you're bringing aboard are ramped up quickly? AI is a really, really effective way to do that. Well, I mean, one of the things I think about is like the future of work. So some people say, oh, okay, is this going to, you know, replace people? Well, it's finding new ways to work. So Dr. Wong in the study was saying maybe it's monitoring a bunch of calls happening at once. And then when it gets to a level of emotional complexity or needing a person, that's when you bring them in. So that's kind of the recent research on it. And as it gets more dynamic, it'll probably just even sell more. And in terms of where the revenue is at that we're missing, so we launched the voice agent originally February of last year, maybe January. And there was this stat from Harvard Business Review that 28% of calls come outside of regular business hours. And a lot of folks, when they started, working with us on this, they said, well, I don't know, maybe it's somebody ordering pizza, maybe it's someone making a prank call in the middle of the night to a moving company. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the moving industry, but actually the stats hold up. There are folks who expect the same level of speed to getting to the customer in moving that they get everywhere else. And so it actually is about 20 to 40% of missed inquiries, whether over the phone or online, that come outside of regular business hours. There is also, I mean, we know what peak season is. It would be so nice if we were in our offices measuring everything, looking at all the numbers, and there are no fires to put out, but that's just not the reality. In peak season, we tend to be very reactive. So in peak, that's often the time when this is most true. There is the most opportunity to get to folks. All the work we put in throughout the rest of the year is coming to fruition. So how do you make sure that you're addressing those missed calls that happen when you are underwater and you are in the warehouse solving a problem that you didn't know existed 20 minutes ago? Couple other stats, quote follow up. How do we prioritize? We know sales reps' time is limited. We know coordinators can only handle a certain number of shipments at once. So, how can we use the technology to get to our customers faster, to provide a better customer experience, and ensure that we are letting our best people handle the most complex problems? And then finally, in terms of revenue that we're not seeing, well, folks on the phones have different close rates. How do we improve that? And the answer is getting more data. Could be through AI, could be through something else. But if you don't know what's happening with your sales folks and your coordinators on the phone, you should be analyzing that and you should be providing feedback because the data, sales reps sell, the data doesn't lie. And when you put all this together, it's margin leakage and it's making sure that, you can drive more revenue. So there is revenue on the phones, on the web that is coming in that if you aren't first to get to the customer, someone who moves quicker will be.
When technology like this comes available, you end up getting more options. And one of the things that we all know in this industry is how unique, nuanced, complex this industry is. You take a look at a move in Southeast Florida versus California versus North Carolina, which is right, close to Florida. Every single move is so different, so complex. And when other companies or other AI try to solve that problem, it becomes very generic, very robotic, and not really helpful. And so what we've done is we've specifically designed all of our AI technologies to be moving focused. We've spent since 2019, so more than half a decade within this industry across hundreds and hundreds of moving companies. And everything that we do is specifically designed around making AI great for this industry. Another challenge that this industry runs into is that a lot of the things are still very manual. People still have whiteboards, people still have paperwork, and AI needs data to be really, really effective. And frankly, out there in the world, there isn't that much moving data to go off of because of how manual this industry has been. And so at Supermove, as we've started to work with customers and help them utilize their data better, the AI that we support our customers with utilizes all of their data in order to provide the best voice agent for that company. And you do the math, right? Let's say you miss even just 15 missed calls a day, and you could have converted 30% of them on $3,500 of average job value. Quickly adds up. That's $5.7 million a year in lost revenue.
Share a couple stories of folks who have had some success with this. One of our customers, Nagley, in Elmira, New York, their United agent. And for them, they use the Copilot on the phone with their people to record conversations. It can transcribe things. It can even, write follow-ups or things like that. But ultimately, in talking to Bo, who runs the company, uh, a lot of the biggest wins here are just focusing on the customer more. So having a co-pilot there on the phone with you, where when you're talking to a customer or a transferee or whoever it is who's having a rough day, how do you focus on them instead of worrying about getting down the zip code exactly right or getting down all the details? So when I talk to folks, a lot of the best things that they see from this is just giving their people the ability to focus on the things that people are good at. Part of the beauty of the moving industry is there is so much like institutional knowledge. If you haven't been into hundreds and hundreds of homes and seen the craziness of a peak season, it's very hard to teach that. So how do you get people to focus more on, your consultant who's been with you for decades? How do you get them to focus more on the customer than on getting down basically manual work and data entry? So that's one over there. Um,
So, like we mentioned before, the modern call center, we're going to shift that focus from a cost center into the modern revenue engine. And there's three main components talking specifically about how Supermove does this in order to help you. Number one, our goal is to make sure that you capture every single lead that walks in or reaches out to you. Number two, a lot of companies that we work with have really good coordinators or sales reps, and they have, maybe more average coordinators and sales reps all on the same team. How do we make the average folks just as good as the best? And lastly, every single lead, every single customer that you've worked with in the past is still a revenue opportunity or a customer service opportunity. Let's monetize those, make them active, turn them into something valuable for your business. Stop the leaks. So, talking through the call center, there's three components. One is how we handle with a voice agent. Two is how we handle with like a side-by-side co-pilot. And number three is our outbound voice agent. So we're going to talk about number one first.
We had somebody who came to us, one of the largest movers in the country, working with a major van line, and they just found that again, peak season they were underwater. I think they actually started talking to us during peak, and there was a high abandonment rate. So again, it's people deciding to move last minute. In this case, it was a household goods division for them, and what happened was they started simple. They started using an AI voice agent for after hours, weekends, and missed calls. They actually found that lunchtime was a big time when they were missing inquiries. And then they had the co-pilot sit in with their people. Call abandonment reduced 30%. They had their reps close rate improved by 8 and actually found almost 3 million in revenue through this. But I think the key thing is they've now been in this for months. And so what their AI performance looks like today is very different from 8 or 9 months ago because it's always improving. The voices have changed. Again, they sound more realistic than they used to be. But I think the better thing and probably most relevant for most folks on the phone is they're getting to their customers first to the point where someone can call in the middle of the night, get sent, they use a virtual survey tool, get sent a virtual survey, and then they can wake up to a list of what the customer is moving. And so their best consultants get in with more information versus just starting from a consultant or coordinator, a voicemail that maybe somebody didn't even leave. So it's always getting better. And this is an example of getting on top of it early and sort of improving over time, where now it's not just after hours and weekends, it's all parts of the day, different. I mean, not to get too far away, but they have different agents for national accounts, they have different agents for non-household goods. They've got some really interesting things going on.
So they've set up the voice agent to handle a lot of inbound conversations. The voice agent can route to the right person, can send them text messages, and it can handle complex situations too. So we're going to play a quick 30, 40-second snippet of someone trying to be as difficult as possible to the voice agent and how it handles that.
And as one June's playing it up also, I mean, you go back to like the I don't like talking to AI. I think the key thing is people don't like talking to bad AI. If it answers your questions, even if you know if it is, or it's addressing stuff quickly, um, people are actually quite receptive to these conversations.
Okay, here we go. Here's just a quick snippet. And this is what you're seeing right now is the Supermove call center product interface. This is a specific call where everything is transcribed and you see the customer names on the left and the playbook that the voice agent is trying to go through on the right. And in the middle is a transcript. And I'm going to jump to a section here where you can hear this is our female Laura voice agent that we released about a year ago. And you can hear the conversation here.
Sure, I can help with that. Can I start by getting your name, please? And could you spell it out for me?
I actually don't want to give you my name.
That's totally fine. I understand. If you prefer not to share your name, we can still go over the information you need. What specific details are you looking for?
Just
Take your time. What information do you need?
I'm just looking to, I don't know, learn more about your company, what you guys do, maybe get you to come out and
do an estimate for me?
Got it. We offer a range of moving services, including local and long distance moves, residential and commercial relocations, and logistics services. We can definitely set up an in home estimate for you. Could you share your address so I can note that down?
No, I'm pretty shy about that as well. Do you do long distance?
Yes, we do long distance moves. We can help you with planning and executing moves across states or even nationwide. If you have a specific destination in mind, I can provide more details. Would you like to share where you're moving from and to?
No, I'm very shy. What about I've got a really large appliance. Like I have a big, extra large washing machine. Can you handle that?
Absolutely. We can handle large appliances like washing machines.
So you can see it's interacting and it's not sticking to a robotic script. It's not asking you to press one to move on. It's having a full-on conversation with that customer. Cool. Jumping back in here.
And so the other side is the Copilot, and these are related. When we talk about Copilot, it is sitting in with folks on the phone. We actually started with this as a sales tool, where you have an AI sales coach in everyone's pocket. It can determine based on the call what to suggest. I can analyze their performance and ultimately just help people get better. So this is again your people on the phone, analyzing what they're doing, helping them with just on-time coaching, and I'll walk you through this a little bit. So this is about making your people perform at their best. So how do we make sure that when someone picks up the phone, especially with many parts of the moving industry down, how do we make sure that we're capitalizing? So with somebody on the phone, what we want to do is analyze things for them, take notes. If we go to the next slide, um, it's become a way to optimize every stage. So let's say somebody picks up the phone and let's say they're talking to someone and they've made, let's call it 40, 50 calls in a day. They've got a lot of different moves they're looking at, maybe different types. What will happen actually is that it will give them context of their last conversation. So here, Annie's calling, it's saying, all right, last time the sales team gave her a quote, she seemed receptive. She would reach out if she has concerns. And I can very quickly see, okay, this is a local move. The stage it's at is the quote is pending. So right on time context. So again, the person picking up the phone can focus on the customer. Now, what's been really surprising is as we've rolled this out, this again, this product's been out there for over a year. But as we've rolled this out, we've seen our customers doing some interesting things with it. So what you'll see on the next slide is that we actually have people using this for all kinds of moves. So it's not only for coordination and sales, but what's happening is people are using the AI Copilot for different things. In this case, they're using it for a military move. So a PCS CONUS move, continental US. And when the coordinator is talking to that service member, it's actually showing them the steps they need to go through. Here is what we call battle cards, where for this example, which is an O&I move, someone mentions biotech. Maybe not something that your people are thinking about. Maybe you could service it. It will pop up battle cards. And then it will tag calls accordingly. So if you tell the AI, hey, I want you to listen for the customer's feelings or for if this needs to be escalated or what's required as a next step, the AI will actually read the call, whether done by a human or by AI. So let's say we're talking to the service member here and we know that there's an issue. It can then mark that call as issue and it can escalate it to either the person on the phone. If it's AI, maybe say we need to get a person involved. So all of these things come together to make sure that you know exactly what's going on with your customers and you can give them the best experience possible. So again, we didn't anticipate it going beyond sales, but people are using this for national account work when they know they need to go through these 77 steps for an account that demands a lot, for check-ins with customers to see if everything's going okay. So we've seen our customers doing some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah. Imagine if you, as the CEO or the owner or the VP of sales or the sales manager, you could be there right next to the rep on every single call that they do. This is that this is that purpose. Not just the sales team, but the coordinators, the claims team, the operations, every single customer touch point that you have, you can put the best brains on that call. So we talked about voice agents, which is handling your inbound calls. We now talked about Copilot, which is putting every talented brain in the company into the back pocket of every single person talking to a customer. And lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we just released. It's the outbound activator. When moving companies currently today, they receive leads and inbound. About half of those leads get lost. And for the reason why that's happening is because salespeople typically are very revenue motivated, and they should be, and they're focusing on the most likely to close customers or the most valuable customers. But you as a company have spent thousands and thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing and making that phone ring or that customer to come inbound through your website. Every single lead is precious. And so if you want your teams to be focused on the most valuable leads, how do we make it so that we don't have to spend a lot of effort to get value from maybe some of the leads that got ignored? This is what the dialer is meant to fix. So we have two dialers today. One is, and dialer meaning outbound. One is the human auto dialer. This is a way where, let's say I'm a customer service claims person on or a collections person on your accounting team, and I need to call a list of 20 customers to follow up to collect. And half my day almost is filled with typing in notes and clicking through and finding the next customer to search, typing the number in, and it's so repetitive. And you know what? Half the time I'm going to get voicemail. So now I've wasted so much of my time on doing something that is relatively not useful in hindsight. So what the auto dialer does for humans is that it will put together all of those people that you want to call, whether it's for whoever in your company, whether it's for a salesperson, operations, or claims, and it's going to dial through them. And as soon as it connects with someone, it's going to connect that human with that person. So that's a human power dialer. We also have a AI auto dialer. Imagine where customers are coming in through your website, and we wish we were in a world where every single lead that came in through our website was highly valuable and we could put a person on it right away. But a lot of leads come in at night. A lot of leads feel like spam. A lot of leads might not really be useful. So one use case is that what if you had an AI reach out to them immediately, qualify them, get as much information as possible, and then your sales team can focus on the most valuable ones that it unearths from that. Another use case would be when a move just completes and you want feedback. And sure, maybe some of your most valuable customers you can call directly. But to get feedback from every single one of your customers, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, and you have to constantly remind your team to do that. What if your voice agent could text and email and call your customer to get that information from them? So I'm going to do a quick demonstration of submitting a lead and showing you how a voice agent will call me about the move. So this is a example lead form. I'm just going to type in my information. Let's say I'm John Smith.
Good choice of email for John Smith.
I'm going to say I am moving from a 3-bedroom, and I'm moving from 2,900 to 1,900. And so this is like a lead form that you might have on your website, or you embed. Heard you through friend or family. I'm going to submit that. Oh, of course, skip the date. Let's say I'm moving next Saturday. So let's say I submitted this at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. when your team is now no longer at the office. That customer is now switching to the next customer over and submitting the lead again. And while they're doing that, they should receive a call. So, oops.
And as it's calling on June, you can make 100 calls at once, 1,000 calls. The AI can scalable, doesn't get tired or angry or hungry.
Oh, I was on do not disturb, so it didn't give me a call.
You're too
Let me
respectful of the webinar.
let me play with you. Let me play the call that I just did yesterday. Love it when live demos always something happens. Here you go.
Hello, this is Wonjun.
Hi, Jin. I'm calling with Supermoving Company. I just saw your request come through our website. Thanks for reaching out about your upcoming move. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So, I wanted to confirm a few quick details about your move. I see that you're planning a local move on March 20th, 2026. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Great. And I see that it's a three-bedroom move from 2,900 Hearth Place in Santa Clara to 19,000 Homestead Road in Cupertino. Does that sound accurate?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you're moving to 19000 Homestead Road, Cupertino, California, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and just to make sure we have everything covered, are there any specialty items you're looking to move, like pianos, artwork, or anything else that might need special handling?
Just a piano. Yeah.
Got it, a piano. Thanks for letting me know. Now, when are you looking to make a decision about booking your move? I can send you a booking link to lock in today's rates and secure your spot. Would that work for you?
Yeah. How much would it cost?
Based on your move size and where you're moving to and from, it should be about $225 per hour for 4 to 6 hours. Our guys will work fast, so I'm hoping it will come under $1,200. Would that work for you?
It's a little expensive.
I understand. Moving can definitely add up. If you'd like, I can see if there are any options or discounts available. Would that be something you're interested in?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I can have someone follow up with you about that. In the meantime, would you like me to send over the booking link to secure today's rates just in case?
Yeah, that'd be good.
So you can see based on the data that I submitted within that lead form, the AI voice agent is now calling about that information. So today, as your customers constantly talk to you and build up this wealth of knowledge, the voice agent at Supermove gets more and more intelligent about that customer. So if John Smith then actually did end up booking, and then later on, the move was happening, you could do another call where it remembers details about this initial call that they just had, that maybe that it was expensive or whatever, so that it can do a better job as it proceeds throughout that customer relationship. And now you're just getting to John way faster than everyone else.
Yeah. And the voice agent's learning from your people at the same time, so it's all related between the humans and the AI. Sometimes I like to think about it as one June, do you know the platinum rule?
What's the platinum rule?
So the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule, I think, is better. It's treat others the way they want to be treated. So on the note of, what's better, a voice agent, a person calling with context, a text, an email, I would actually argue that just the way people communicate changes from person to person. Speed to lead is massively important, obviously, but having this infrastructure allows you to get to the customer first and then have different rules about, okay, maybe they're talking to it for a while and then they want to set up an in-home estimate with a person. Great. Let's do that. Maybe it's the type of person who doesn't answer their phone when their best friend calls. We all know those people. So how do you create a customer experience that's for what the customer wants versus what either our tech limits us to or, voicemail, which I think is probably extinct soon.
Awesome. Love the platinum rule. I like that. So when you think through this new uh, call center experience, when you work with Supermove, we're bringing all three technologies into your business as you're ready. And so you would have an AI voice agent that can be used to do pretty much any conversation today that you need it to. Then you have analysis and insights from your copilot that is telling and guiding your human reps to do the best job that they can. And you have outbound technologies that is speeding up how you get through to your customers and helping you access new customers and new revenue that maybe you didn't have access to before. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up for today. If you are ready to see it in action and you want a personalized demo, you can reach out to me directly. My email is wj@supermove.com and I'll route you to the right person. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the Q&A section. We have about 5-10 minutes.
Question about prices. Call us. Uh, have a discussion with us. Will the presentation be posted? I believe so. Which AI voice are you recommending? Um, I mean, we recommend our own. It's working for movers, but I think, moving on something is important. If you're using voicemail right now, you're behind. Yep, over 150 of our customers alone are using the AI functionality. The voice agent has been kicking off. Um, Federal, yes, Itai. I love the regulation question. Yes. Okay, so I'll do this one and then I'll pass it off to you on June. So yeah, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, the TCPA, says that AI voice agents fall under what they would call like an artificial or a pre-recorded voice. So you can't just outbound, you can't just, have 1,000 numbers that you picked up and go outbound to them. You need consent, which they're different. I'm not a lawyer, we're not lawyers, but if someone has submitted a form or given you their consent to get in touch with them, then you are allowed to use an AI voice to call out to them.
Yep, that's correct. And it differs by state, actually. So we can work with you. If you're multi-state, we can also work with you through that process to make sure you follow all the rules and regulations. The AI agent can schedule an appointment into a salesperson's calendar. There's actually several options to help you set that up, and we can work with you to do that.
I don't know why I got so
One of the
excited
questions,
about compliance. I was like, yes, I've been waiting for this.
it's okay. One of the questions was, are battle cards helpful and the best way to use within the call? Can battle cards update automatically with changing information? Yes. So battle cards during the call, as keywords are detected, it will pop up with the battle card. So if someone says the word biotech during the conversation, the battle card will pop up. And you can design battle cards to be flexible as it guides throughout this conversation today.
We have a mix of some of our
Does it do?
customers will say,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Wonju. I was going to talk about announcing that it's AI. My recommendation is test for your audience. Some people like to say, "Hey, I'm a virtual assistant. Nobody's available right now. When someone is, they'll get back to you." Some people like to just have it roll with it. It depends on the market, it depends on your business, but my best advice is test it and see what the data shows as better performing for you. And I think one June might be frozen there. So setup, the technical setup is not difficult. It's basically done through call forwarding, so it's pretty fast. Um, if it's urgent and you need to get it live tomorrow, you could. Often we find with our customers it's longer than that, because what people want to do is it's less about the technical setup and more about making sure that it's on brand, that you've tested it a few times, that it has information that's relevant to you. And that kind of brings it into, you start from a baseline where it has moving and storage knowledge, but then it's your own environment where it gets trained on. So whether that's uploading people's calls to train it, or you just calling at it and sort of yelling at it. Sometimes I yell at it and change the actual prompts of how it responds to a certain objection or something like that. So that's the long-winded way of saying the technical setup is quick, but it's up to you how long you actually want to take before you turn it on and see how it performs. Is it mandatory to mention lawyer question? But I believe no. If it's inbound, no. On outbound, then defer to 1 June on that. When the auto dialer confirms sending follow-up details with the customer, can it be sent via automated text or specifically emails? 1 June, want to talk through automations based off of the outbound?
Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, when it's sending follow-up details, can it be text or email? You have all channels available. It could be a call even, or you could send an email and a text, or you could send just a text or just an email. So when you sign up for the call center, the new modern call center with Supermove, you get access to these automations that your voice agent could do. Great.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and then a
Did we
couple
miss any?
more. Pricing, you can get in touch with us. And how is the AI auto dialer performing? So a fairly recent rollout. Can share some stories. I don't have any stats off the top of my hand, but a lot of the way folks are doing it is off hours, someone fills out a form and then having it call out to them, and also going back to old leads that their sales team or coordinators aren't working anymore, and then having it dial out to them and seeing if there's something there. Some people are also doing like a check-in. So I've seen this more with commercial movers, where they will, meaning like O&I, they will actually call out to the job. Let's say it's over a course of a few months, you're checking in with your project manager, whoever it is, but you also might have AI call in and just be like, hey, how are things going? If there's an issue, then it gets escalated to a person. So those are the kind of creative things we're doing, but should have some more stats in the coming months.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions? Amazing. Well, thank you everyone for hopping on today. Sorry, there's some technical difficulties, but otherwise, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at wj@supermove.com, wj@supermove.com, and excited to learn more about your business and get this set up for you exactly the way that you need it. Let's do
And we've
this.
been AI the entire time. Not
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, I was turning my AI robot on and off and it wasn't quite working
You're in a
today, so.
hundred places at once. All right. Appreciate the time, everybody.
Bye.